Welcome to Music with Harry, the best and only music show on the internet. Welcome to my lounge. This is where I've got my keyboard, so I thought I'd just do it in here. Here we are. I thought this might be a little fun project to do. Show you how I compose my music. I do quite a lot of composition actually. Probably more so than I should have. I should probably practice a bit more. So this is my lounge, and this is Music with Harry. Just a bit of background about me, I suppose, if anyone's interested. I play the keyboard, that's my first instrument. I can play a few other instruments, like ukulele. I can do a bit of singing. Don't really like doing singing that much anymore. I used to like it, but now I don't like it as much. I'm much more confident on the Beast, which is my PSR S775 Yamaha, built like an absolute tank. It's technically a digital workstation, which means I can program MIDI on here. It's a type of, music format that can be read by a keyboard and using its built-in sounds. Such a great instrument in my opinion, and you learn so much about different aspects of music, different genres, different instruments, how to replicate playing that, because that's technically what the keyboard's about, I suppose. Composition. It's probably daunting to a lot of people. I don't find it that daunting anymore, unless it's a really big project that I've got to do, and if there's like deadlines for school and things, I might find it a bit stressful, but I genuinely enjoy composition, and I think it's a great thing to be good at, and it's a great skill for musicians to have, making their own music rather than just reading other people's. I think that's what's wonderful about music. It sounds cheesy, but I just do. So I'm going to talk you through briefly how I compose and what I think is important to think about when you compose, and that kind of thing. Sounds a bit weird potentially, but there's steps, and some steps you won't even realise that you need to take. So I'll start off. So step one, think about the purpose and the theme of the song. Okay, so or the piece of music. What's it for? What's the purpose? So most people probably won't think of this because they'd just be thinking they want to compose a piece of music. But is it a pop song? Is it for I compose a lot of musicals, songs for that kind of thing. So if you're composing for a musical, which I do, that's what I mainly do. I've got a musical I've been trying to write for quite a while, and I've only probably started writing decent music for it. So I've stripped everything. I've just literally cleared everything that I already had, and I've just rewritten completely new songs, because now when I'm looking back, I've learnt so much from school, I suppose, and from lessons with my keyboard teacher. We don't just limit to keyboard. It's more about playing with other people, musicianship, and general music theory as well. Everyone needs to know a bit of music theory. That's why if you go to university, you have to really have taken a grade 5 theory exam. And it provides a really nice general base knowledge for you. I think that's important. But going back to what we were talking about, so you've got the general purpose and the topic and themes of your song. So then you can move on to, right, we're actually going to start constructing the song now. Okay, so along with the genre and theme and topic of your song, you need to think of instrumentation after that. So it needs to be fitting within that genre, really, unless you're trying to go out of your way and do a fusion. But you still need to think about what instruments you want. So sad, if it's like a sad, melancholy ballad, for instance, you're not going to want really strong instruments. Maybe you might want some at the end to, if it's uplifting at the end and they've overcome something. Symbolistically, is that a word? Symbolically, whatever. The music is growing stronger with the character, or the just the the singer of and the story of the pop song, because sort of they follow a bit of a story, don't they? So you can think about that. Yeah, you need to make sure that your instruments fit your theme, because otherwise, well, it's just not going to work. And if you've got like a church organ with something completely different, like electronic music or something like that, it's just not going to work, is it? So you need to think about that. Then after that, we get onto chord progression. Now, I do chord progression before melody. It's so much easier because you base your melody off the chord progression. Okay, so there's so many chord progressions. You don't need to think of your own. They've basically all been discovered, really, haven't they? That work, and they're proven to work. Okay, there's the plenty. So there's the 1-4-5-4. Okay, that's popular in film music, musicals, that kind of thing. Upbeat, major. And then as well, you're thinking about rhythm of the chords, because really that's the chord progression, but I've made it. So rhythm comes into that as well. But let's just focus on the chord progression. Minor chord progressions as well. I love this chord progression I'm about to show you. It's probably my most used chord progression. It's so versatile. It's okay. I just love it. It's a minor chord progression. Okay, so it starts on the tonic, which is the first note, first chord in the scale. Okay, it's a tonic chord. It's the tone center, because it's G. So this is in G minor, what I'm about to play. Tonic 1, major 7th and then 6th, the dominant, which is the 5th, and it has a suspended 4th. Okay, that I put the suspended 4th on the end on the dominant chord because it gives even more tension. The dominant always gives tension. And then we go back to the tone center. 5-1 chords, so we go from D to G minor. That is a perfect cadence. It's used everywhere. Pretty much every song has a perfect cadence, apart from some. It's because the I don't know how to phrase this. I'm always bad at this. D is the furthest point away from the tone centre, and it causes tension, and then it resolves, and it sounds nice. It sounds nicer if you resolve in the major key, but it was in minor. So yeah, that's why that chord progression I think really works. It descends. I like it. It just sounds nice, and then it resolves back to the tonic chord. Again, it's just, I like it. It's my personal taste. Okay, so then you come on to melody. Now, melody can be really tricky. I think you can hit some real roadblocks in this process and in the melody. I improvise. Okay, I get my chord progression and I improvise. There's lots of different ways you can improvise. I take a scale. So we're in the key of G minor, okay, for instance, with this chord progression, okay, and then most pop songs are based on a pentatonic scale, okay, major or minor. If it's the minor key, then it'll be the minor pentatonic, okay. I really like this variation of the pentatonic scale, okay. It's minor pentatonic, but it has a blues note, okay, which is in G, C sharp, okay. Don't overuse that note, okay. So a pentatonic scale is a variety of notes within the scale that just work, okay. I don't know the theory behind it at the moment. I haven't researched that, but it's used everywhere. Pretty much every pop song has the pentatonic scale in, okay. And it's just used because it works every time. It's such a good cheat. It's not really a cheat. It's just good, okay. So Okay, so that's the blues scale because it had the C sharp in. The minor pentatonic is. Okay, it's just easy. Okay, so improvise on the scale or with a variant of the scale. Okay, you're bound to find an idea. Okay, within there. Okay, so for instance, the theme song to this to Music with Harry is based on that chord progression. Okay, and the that is blues scale. Okay, because it's blues because it has that C sharp. Okay, and okay, I improvised that when I did it. I was thinking, well, we start in G, and it's quite nice to start a bit higher because it causes a bit of tension and it goes back down. It's not too far. It's okay. So can you see what I'm trying to say? Okay. Now you don't want to venture too far at this point because we've only just introduced a theme, and then we go up and end on G. Okay, back to the tone center. Go back, and it sounds like it's about to start be the same, and then we start descending. And we end on that. Again, that probably took me quite a while to. I can't remember when I composed this. I've used it many times before. So yes, that's how I improvise. So you improvise. It might take a while to get to that stage where you've got right. That is perfect. Okay. Then it's more about layering up. Okay. So you've got the basic melody. You've got your chord progression. Okay. Then it's more about harmony and layering. So just getting the chords in. Okay, that kind of thing, and then finding other instruments, maybe higher up. You can't see that because it's up here. Yeah, and then obviously within your song you need to have some kind of bass, you need some kind of drums, you need some kind of lead instrument. So in the intro it was lead guitar. I think there's a bit of synth in there as well, and then chord progression mainly. Just use piano. It just works. Okay, electric piano, a normal grand piano, they always work. Okay, then organs. I like organs. They're just a nice pad sound, and it just blends everything together because you don't want to an aggressive organ. Okay, I say that's quite a distorted organ because it sounds sort of distorted. So I normally go jazz rotary. It's just smooth. It's just nice. Okay, and then for that, okay, so again, that instrumentation is perfect for that. But if you're composing something that's more orchestral, then of course you're going to want strings and okay, and then harp will create a nice just a rhythm, and it could be really nice and low. Well, not with that. But then if it's orchestral, then you can't use a bass guitar, can you? You have to use a contrabass, or contrabass, whatever you want to call it, or an acoustic bass, as in an upright bass. Okay, it's just thinking about your instrumentation. I think it's important, and then you kind of go on to little ornaments. Okay, so we call them ornaments. They're just little twiddly bits. So trills and very fine details. Okay, so so like shakers and things like that, and extra percussion and sound effects, risers, and I would call it a whoosh. Okay, it's just a nice sound effect that I think is used in modern pop music and that kind of thing as well. I'll show you what I mean. You can't see it, it's up here, you can just about see it. It's under SFX and it's whooshes 1. Take that kind of thing, and then to these kind of things, do you know what I mean? They're used quite a lot, and just little things like that I think work. And you need that kind of thing to just polish it off, and it just adds a bit extra that just seals the deal. Okay, so that's sort of it. You kind of, when you're composing a longer piece, to create more intrigue, because it kind of gets a bit boring after a while, doesn't it, I suppose? So you're going to want to put in key change, modulation to minor, that kind of thing. Throughout the piece, you're going to want to get a bit more intrigue, okay? So, because you've had your verse, okay? So we've got used to that. We've had your chorus, we've had your basic themes. Then, just to step it up for the final chorus or whatever, you're going to want a key change, maybe, if it's suitable, or just add a bit more. You want something slightly extra, so another instrument, like an arpeggio or something with a synth, or no, you want to kind of something that's just gonna add a bit more and make it, oh yeah, we're finishing, okay, yeah, that kind of thing, okay. Fills as well. Fills don't just have to be drum fills. It doesn't just have to be it could be a melodic fill as well. It could be blah 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 blah, something like that. Oh, I'm not going to play that. I don't know what it was. So yeah, it just be more creative. Okay, so and think rather than just, because at school, for example, for coursework, people are just, oh, I've got to do a composition. Oh, I better just put this. Oh, that'll be all right. But you're not putting passion into it. Do you know what I mean? Music has to have that bit of passion in there to really make the song, rather than, oh, I've just got to make the song to get the grade. Okay, so to really successfully compose a decent piece of music, you need to have that drive to really get it right. Okay, this piece of music that I wrote for a musical that I've been trying to write for a while, as I was mentioning earlier. This probably took me a solid 2 or 3 months to write properly, from getting the theme and chord progression and melody, okay, all the way through to finished, okay. And even now, I'm going back and thinking, right, I finished a song, but actually I want to change this bar and maybe, that kind of thing. It's not finished, okay? Even though technically it's a finished song. To me, it's not finished because I want to change a little bit, okay? I don't know when I'm going to do that soon. It probably won't take me that long. It's just when I get around to doing it. It's just, again, you need to want to create a really nice piece of music to get there, okay? So I've been thinking of this chord progression. Again, this is not what I didn't mention this earlier, but at some point, pre-chorus or bridge, you're gonna want to change the chord progression up, okay? Relative minor, that kind of thing, or just start on a different chord in the scale. So this is when I was playing around with modes, so I can't decide if this is in C or if it's in D Dorian. D minor. So it starts with D minor, F, C, G. Okay. And then it goes to E minor, which is relative minor of C if it's in C. So that sort of makes sense. F, G, E minor, G. Okay. So it just, again, changes it up a bit and makes it a bit better for the listener, and makes it different and makes them more intrigued. It's going to make them want to actively listen rather than just it's nice, yeah. You know, that kind of thing. It changes it, and it forces you to listen essentially, because oh right, that's changed. Oh, that goes quite nice or whatever. So yeah, it's important to have a chord change in somewhere, and then we can go back to the original, because you want to go back to the original, because there's no point doing a chord change and then you've left that theme behind that you've just established. You want to bring it back, and then it's again building tension and then relieving it back. So that's sort of my thought process when it comes to composition. Again, I have a drive to compose things, but I have periods where I just cannot be bothered, so I won't do it because I know I won't be able to write a decent piece of music. So I think it's really important to take your time, because there's nothing worse than rushing a piece of music and it's just absolute rubbish. It's just crap at the end, and you just think, well, if I took a bit more time and paced myself, then it could have been really nice. But you can always go back and salvage it. Obviously, you've basically, with a rubbish composition that you've just done, well, you've got a nice theme, so you can just again take your time, keep to the melody and the chord progression, and then change a few things. You might want to add a bridge section again with a chord change, key change at the end maybe, that kind of thing. It's just thinking about how to make it interesting. Don't make it too busy though. There's a fine line between being too empty and being really busy. And again, thinking about levels. So how loud are the people are playing? You don't want to overpower the background stuff with the melody, so you can't hear it. There's no point, and you can't hear the nice harmonies that you've just done because you're just hitting block chords from other instruments. So it's again thinking about what you're composing, and it could take ages. Okay, again, this took me longer than it would if I was doing a garage band project. This I notated, okay, in MuseScore, so I can't be bothered to buy Sibelius. Let's be honest, it's overpriced. So just use MuseScore. MuseScore is a brilliant open source music notation software, not application, software. And I mean, it's good. Once you've mastered, I've used it probably 3, 4, maybe 5 years. No, not 5 years. Probably 4 years. And it's really taken me that long to properly master it on my own. I haven't watched other videos but yeah, it's about perfecting that piece of music, and don't rush. It's really important to pace yourself, I think. So that's sort of my brief crash course. I'll go into more in-depth things later on, but I will take you through maybe composing a piece. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you found it interesting and found it useful. That's the main thing, really. I mean, the intro makes it seem like, oh, this is gonna be a joke, but I actually want to make this sort of serious. I just hope that it's helped you understand how certainly I compose, and it might help you compose a piece later on. So thank you very much for watching. I don't know what I'm going to release this on, but I don't know if liking is applicable, but if it is, please feel free to give it a like and let me know what you think if you want to see me do anything later. So I hope you've enjoyed, and see you on the next one, I suppose. Bad outro. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.